So these three guitars are unique in and amongst themselves as different models, but they represent some of the most iconic Les Paul guitars of their time. Starting off over here is the 1958 reissue, or R8. Over here is the 1959 R9, and in the back over there is, now that one's a Les Paul 60 Standard. Now, that one is unique because unlike its normal 61R and 61T pickups, that one has Custombucker Alnico 3 magnet Custombuckers in it. So those pickups are very indicative of what you would find in an RO or a 1960 reissue. Now, overall, that means that these three guitars are a 58, a 59, and a 60. With that in mind, each of these guitars has different pickups in it. The R8 has BurstBucker 2s, which have Alnico 2 magnets in them. The R9 is unique because it has Memphis Historic Spec pickups in it. And we're going to find out on the Workbench because I've forgotten what the output is on those, but that one has unique pickups because they don't fit in with what is normally in there, which is what is in this guitar. That is the Custombucker Alnico 3 magnets. So these two, the 58 and the 59, both have pickups that have Alnico 2 magnets in them. And then the 60 reissue, or 60 Standard, has Custombucker Alnico 3 magnets. And they make, each has its own little sound. Which one is what you want? Well, that's kind of up for debate because each of them gives something different. And they all respond well to any kind of effect. But they do have different outputs. And again, I don't remember exactly what they are, but we're going to have them on the Workbench and I can show you. And you'll be able to see what everything is. But at their core, they all are Les Pauls. They're all from that same 58, 59, 60 era. And they all have a unique sound. So without further ado, let's get on to putting them on the Workbench. I'm only going to take apart the 59 and the 60s because the 58 we've seen in the past, and it is identical to the 59, and the 59 really is the newer of the models, so it's more fun to look at it. So anyway, off to the Workbench. So to show you the difference in wiring between a true historic type, reissue, and a modern like 60 standard, 50 standard, stuff like that, the wiring is upgraded versus the two. And of course, like right over here, you can see the R9 for this, because this is the 59 reissue, or the body at least is supposed to be. The neck itself is a 60s V2. So, but anyway, but these capacitors right here are your big difference, because when you'll see in the other one, in the 60 standard, and if you watched the previous video, you'll see where I did it. But these are very different from the little orange ones that are in the actual standard that's from the 2024 model year. So anyway, this wiring though does make a difference, and that's something to be thinking about when you're listening to the sound, because they do make a big difference. And wiring is everything when it comes to pickups, because the wood itself doesn't do a whole lot. I mean, there's probably a little bit of resonance and stuff, but overall, it really is the wiring that makes the difference on pickups. And there's a definite difference between like a PCB or the quick connect systems and these hand wired systems that are separate like this. And also notice there's no shielding on this one. There's no actual like base plate. These are just on there. And you'll notice when you get to the 60 standard that it does not have the hand mounted everything like this. It's on a quick plug and play type deal where you just push it in there. So anyway, showing you this, go to the 60 standard and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So as you can see, same basic setup, right? But it's got this piece right here that these are all mounted to. So it makes it easier to just take the whole unit and just drop it in, put in screws, the nuts that hold it in place from the top, and then start wiring it in. Or if you have enough lead, wire it in and then just drop it in place, put the nuts in and hold it. But see these little tiny capacitors? This really does make a big difference, because the wiring is different overall, but the actual capacitors make a big difference in the sound. So with this in mind, you'll notice that there's a little bit different. There's no R9 or R8 like there is on the reissues, and a little other stuff like the wiring, probably a little bit thinner gauge. Connectors and stuff are a little bit less, but overall, not significant. The achieved goal is pretty much the same. And even in this guitar, which of course is the 60 standard with the Custombuckers, this guitar sounds amazing, even with the lower wiring, even with everything being just a little bit diminished compared to the custom shop. The fact that so the pickups really did make a good difference. I'm going to be very interested if I can find a Custombucker equipped model that has the Alnico 3s in it to bring in to take a look at this wiring versus that wiring and see what kind of sound difference there is, if there's any, between that and an RO. So like I say, anyway, but those capacitors, the little ones, I'm probably call them like orange drop capacitors or something like that. But anyway, those are the biggest difference in the wiring between these two models. So since it's the one that's on the table right now, I'm going to start off with this one and get the output readings for you as a good reference of exactly what you should expect from these guitars. Everything turned to 10. Neck pickup 7.37. Bridge pickup 7.36. In the middle 3.68. So pretty even between the two pickups. So those really do 736 and 737. So pretty even like that. Now let's go to the BurstBucker 2s, which have the Alnico 2 magnets, because these are the Custombuckers with the Alnico 3s. So Custombucker Alnico 3, on to the next one. Now we're at the BurstBucker 2s, because this one has a BurstBucker 2 and in both the neck and the bridge. So they are 7.97, 8.01, and 3.99 in the middle. So pretty even between these two. 0.04 worth of difference on those BurstBuckers, and then in the middle 399 or 4.0. So once again, this is the 58 reissue with the BurstBucker 2s, and these have Alnico 2 magnets in them. So magnets, basically the same magnets that you would get in like the Slash custom BurstBucker or Custombucker Alnico 2 magnets that are on the Slash models. So very similar to that. And now we're at the Memphis Historic Specs. Now these are also supposed to be Alnico 2 magnets, and I can't tell you if that is correct or not, because I can't find any other information on them other than they're supposed to. There's no like secondary type of magnet or anything listed like that. But these are the Memphis Historic Spec pickups, and they 7.08 in the neck, bridge 7.26. So different, that's a definite difference in those two. And I think one of them, when we looked at it, was like MHS Plus or something like that. So they are different. These two are not like matched like the other ones seem to be. And then in the middle, 3.58. Again, 708 in the neck, 725 or 726 in the bridge, and then 3.58 in the middle. So those really are pretty different. I mean, like I said, they're lower output, but they have a great sound to them, man. You know, they really adjust well to everything, and you'll hear that in the sound demonstration. But anyway, Memphis Historic Specs. So the amplifier is being really loud today. So you'll notice that we get a little bit of static and stuff. You'll just know that it's probably the LED lights in here that are creating all this noise. But anyway, bottom line is, got the guitars up. So this is the 58. So this guitar, when the mod shop built it, I talked to the people that were there, and they said that they were trying to go for a guitar that had been played and modified over the years. So it does have a lot of the same things you would get on a 58, but it has some different appointments that make it different because of the way the appearance overall is. Black plastics instead of the cream plastics, for instance, and you know, worn in nickel hardware. The tuners are Grovers that have been aged, and they, like I say, they give a different look to them because you're used to seeing what I'll show you on, you know, the 59 and the 60s, that it has the Keystone style tuners. So, but like I say, overall gets a unique look. And of course the 58s and 59s and 60s all get, or at least I think it's 59 and 60. I know for 58 and 59 both get the tortoise shell side markers. So those with the aniline die really do give it a really unique feel and look, and a lot of noise from the amp, as you can tell. But the overall, this guitar has a great sound, and it is incredibly easy to play, even though it has the thickest neck of the three. This neck is actually really comfortable, and I didn't realize I liked 50s necks until I got this guitar. But in the, I'm gonna just leave everything at 10, not gonna do anything just yet, but these guitars have a really great sound to them, and this particular one is unique because it has the BurstBuckers in it. So to the neck. That was actually the bridge, sorry. In the middle. So this one has a really nice little sound to it, and for as low of output as it is, it feels like it really does push the amplifier pretty good. But the pickups, if you'll look closely, look at how level they are with the with the pickup rings. And you'll notice that there's a difference as we get a little further on. So anyway, this is the 58 reissue with the BurstBucker 2s. Time to go to the 59 now. All right, so the 59 has Memphis Historic Spec pickups. And as noted on, as I was saying, you'll notice that the keystones, it has the green keystones that are on most of these pickups, or most of these tuners that are on like the 58, 59, 60 reissues. So that is a big difference in appearance, but also in the tuning ability of that. I like the Grovers. I personally don't think they're bad. A lot of people don't like them. I think they're neat. So again, it does have the, you know, aniline dye. Everything on here is a little bit over sprayed. It's got the tortoiseshell side markers, which you can't really see very well, but they are there. This one has black plastics. Now this one is a mod shop guitar, so it has been built to do a little bit different. It originally had the VOS, we took the VOS off. The 58 also had the VOS, we took the VOS off. This one again has had black plastics added to it, so it is a little bit different. This one has the custom style multi-layer pick guard on there. The knobs are very much indicative of what you would find on the regular reissues. This one right here is, like I say, the silver topped top hats. And overall, you know, this one's kind of cool because it's got a stinger on it. So that's kind of a neat thing. But overall, these guitars are absolutely great. And this one has, even though it is an R9, as we saw inside the body, or the body is supposed to be an R9, it has the 60s V2 neck. So it's more like a 60s style neck. And this neck on this one does feel, it's like an in-between between the 60 and the 58, which is, a lot of people call the 58 a baseball bat, but having played some of the juniors and stuff, I feel like it's not nearly as thick as people say it is. But anyway, bottom line, Memphis Historic Spec pickups, everything's going to be set to 10. Let's go at it. Onto the bridge. In the middle. This one resonates in a way that the other one, that the 58 does not. That said, it has a really great feel to it. It plays easy. The neck is incredibly comfortable. Like I say, I'm gonna this neck is just a little bit thicker than the one that is on the 60 standard. So this one will be, it's a little bit easier to grasp in the cowboy chord area, and also very comfortable when you're up here at the 10th, 12th, 14th fret. So anyway, on to the Custombuckers. So this guitar is the product of the mod shop / demo shop again, and it is what you get when you take a Gibson USA guitar and put custom shop electronics in it. Now, that said, we figured out from the we figured out from the Workbench that this guitar has the orange capacitors versus the Bumblebee, I think is what they call them, that are the black and the multicolored stripes of the custom shop guitars. So there is a difference in the wiring. Not an amazing difference, not especially huge, but there is a difference. And so we're listening for what that difference it makes in these guitars. Now, this guitar, and I said this back when we first did the first one, right? The second and third guitars, the 59 and this 60s, look at the way the pickups stick up above the actual pickup rings. These rings are set up that way, and this ring is actually taller than the other one, and the other two are like right at even with it. So there is a little difference in the pickup setups on there, but the action is about the same all the way across all three. This one has, so things that are different to this guitar. This guitar has speed knobs. That would normally not be on a 60 standard. This guitar has the Custombucker Alnico 3s. Also not normal on a 60 standard. And these tuners are not indicative of what you get on a 60 standard. 60 standard would normally have the Grover Rotomatics, very much like what is on the 58, but not aged. So the overall setup on this guitar is very similar, like I said, to what you would find on a RO 60s reissue or 1960 reissue. That said, there's reasons to love it or reasons to hate it, depending on who you are and what you like. But I'm a fan of the way this guitar feels. The neck is easy to play. It's a fast neck, designed for a significantly better player than me. It does have the black side markers instead of the tortoise shell, so that is a big difference in this guitar versus the other two. Rosewood neck and everything is pretty much the same. Overall, it's just an average guitar, but it has above average electronics in it, and the electronics make a huge difference in the way this one sounds. So here we are, Custombucker Alnico 3s in the neck starting off. let that one ring out a little bit longer. But the way it sounds is different, and it's really, really, really good. Like, this guitar is proof that changing the electronics, and I really, really, really want to take this guitar and put the Bumblebee capacitors on it just to see how much better it gets, if it gets better at all. But the orange capacitors on here, even with basic wiring, even with a basic USA guitar, you can take a set of $350, $400, $500 pickups, put them in a guitar that is moderately, you know, just an average build, and get an amazing sound. This guitar sounds awesome, and I'd love to hear what these sound like in something like a 60s reissue, you know, a 1960 reissue. So, or even a 59 reissue. So anyway, but at the end of the day, they each have their own unique sound, and they each handles different things differently. This one right here loves Overdrive. Throw the metal zone on, and this guitar will shred. And that's something that all of them really do, but these Alnico 3 magnets in these Custombuckers make an amazing sound. Now, same setup on the other two. Memphis Historic Specs now. The historic specs tend to feed back more than the other two do. The BurstBuckers and the Alnico 3s do it as well, but not quite as much. So, on to the BurstBuckers. Thick neck and BurstBuckers, here we go. So you notice how the BurstBuckers don't feedback? That's something that's unique to the BurstBuckers versus the Custombuckers and the Memphis Historic Spec. Like I say, now fuzz tone. Fuzz tone, there's one that's going to stand out in this group. See if you can figure out which one it is. So, at the end of the day, which one would you choose? Which one do you like best, and why? I'm anxious to hear what everybody thinks. This is not a favorites versus anything. I think that each of these guitars has their own unique sound. I think that the 60 Standard with the Custombuckers in it is proof that you can take a inexpensive guitar and make it sound amazing, because it keeps up with guitars. Both these other guitars are significantly more expensive than a 60 Standard is. And that really does make the biggest case for all of this, is that you can take a good set of pickups, whether it be Seymour Duncan, Lawlers, whatever, and put them in an inexpensive guitar and make it sound like $1 million. It's all about the player and the way things are amplified. I mean, you can change your amplifier and do that. But like I say, these three guitars are easily my three favorites now. And I'm sad to say that, because I genuinely liked the 490R and 490T that were in the Ebony Classic, as well as the pickups that are in the Adam Jones. And the Adam Jones guitar, for me, is so flexible because of what it does and how it does it. The uncovered high gain pickup that's dirty fingers hot is a big deal, but I think I could easily take these three guitars to any gig anywhere and fit in perfectly. And once again, the 60 Standard here, I'm gonna be honest with you, that 60 Standard with the Custombuckers makes me want to take a set of Custombuckers and put it into an Epiphone, because that's a guitar that you could take anywhere and not be feeling like you're carrying a historic piece or anything like that. So again, unique deal. Which one do you like? Talk about it in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe. Till next time.